Headmaster at school, you remember when they used to say, please pay attention? You thought, oh my God, I hope my name isn't going to get called out. You know, the cane beckons. Well, this is nothing like that. This is actually good news. If you bought a Division 1, or you bought a ticket, firstly, from the Wellard Square News and Gifts News Power, you need to listen up, because a ticket purchased from that erstwhile establishment was a Division 1 winner tonight. In fact, it was the only Division 1 winner in Oz Lotto across the country. And it's worth about $2.5 million. It's one of those moments when you go, ooh, that's a bit life-changing. The multi-million-dollar prize, which remains unclaimed, is the state's third largest lotto win for 2020, follows on from $2.8 million prize in March and a $2.5 million win in February. According to Pina Campagnoni from Lottery West, it's great news for WA. By the way, tonight's numbers, and if you purchased from the Wellard Square News and Gifts, pay attention, these numbers were 22, 30, 24, 12, 5, 3 and 27. So those numbers again, I've got to give them to you again. 22, 30, 24, 12, 5, 3 and 27. And we do have one Division 1 winner, only here in WA, Wellard Square News and Gifts News Power. If you bought a ticket from there, I suggest you check it. Hello, Troy.
Oh, wouldn't they have some friends now?
Oh, mate, you'd have all the friends money could rent.
Oh, yeah. How you going, Chris?
Good, mate.
Hey,
what can I do for you?
I've been wanting to ask this question for probably in the last couple of weeks. The question is, with this coronavirus, the question is, and you've probably heard it yourself and a lot of other people have, are we too clean? What's the story now? It's
actually a question I'm wondering, and it's something that we won't actually find out until the future. There's a lot of debates now because people use all sorts of cleaners, and they have done for a long time. They've said that arguably people were not getting subjected to, and when I say people, I'm meaning children, we'd go out and play in the mud and what have you. Net result was we probably acquired a whole raft of germs too numerous to mention. And as a result, I guess we were taking our immune system to the gym. And we probably had immune systems that could deal with stuff. The problem we've got now is as we get more and more and more and more clean, we probably also might have an immune system that's not that well exercised. And there's a lot of questioning now as to whether some of our so-called obsessions have actually led to an increase in things like allergies, because as children, a lot of immune systems now aren't getting the work out that they once used to. But it's a subjective question, and I think part of the problem, Troy, nobody's actually been out and done the research to investigate. And I think that's part of the problem. And that'll be the problem going forward if somebody actually sits down and investigates. This would be like one of those Busselton studies. I don't know if you ever heard of the Busselton study. It started in 1966. It was designed to be a long-term study, and it was carried out with residents of Busselton, and it started in 1966. And to the best of my knowledge, Troy, it's still going. It looks at people, various different.
Because I'm 54 as well.
Yeah, we see it could have started when you were born, right? They might have looked at you as a baby when you were born, if you were born in Busselton, and it'd still be looking at you as a 54-year-old and taking into account all of your lifestyle factors and what have you. So it's a really good question, Troy. If we're ever going to see that researched, I don't know. Possibly it's kind of research is too long, but then again, possibly people don't want to find out the answer, because if you find out the answer, you might not be able to produce a whole raft of medications for it. Hello, Steve.
Oh, g'day, Chris. How you going?
Good, mate.
I believe today is Sorry Day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, you're correct. It is.
And I've just, on the social media, I've just seen that Rio Tinto have gone ahead and blown up an actual heritage, significant site to the local Indigenous community up there. I find it appalling.
Well, they must have got permission to do it. They wouldn't have been able to do it without permission.
Yeah, they did get permission, Chris, but the fact is that the Aboriginal elders and the people up there, as has been stated through reports, had tried to stop it from happening. But whether they had permission or not, I think the Premier needs to get on and explain this tomorrow, what's actually happened, because this is disgusting. Absolutely, Rio have broken a big, big law. As far as I'm concerned, now I'm not Indigenous, I'm an Australian white fella, and respect our Indigenous people. I work in the mining, and there's stringent things in place to stop this from happening. And for Rio to go in there and do that is absolutely appalling and disgusting, and they should be held accountable.
Well, obviously, as I said before, they were allowed to do it. As I understand it, if there is an objection, the objection is lodged. You then go through a process which is a bit like, I suppose, a court of arbitration process, where they look at both sides of the argument and decide which side has a valid argument. Sometimes it might be that there is an argument to be had from both sides, and they then decide through this arbitration process what's exactly going to happen. But according to a report, and you're referring to a report, I've got a report here from Emma Young on watoday.com.au. It said the Aboriginal heritage site of major significance have been destroyed in WA's Pilbara, with a mining company having obtained legal permission to blast the sites before the site's full riches were uncovered. Ajukan Gorge is 60 kilometres northwest of Mount Tom Price on the West Hamersley Plateau, which Aboriginal people first occupied more than 46,000 years ago. It is also the site of the Brockman 4 iron ore mine. Rio Tinto has long known that a group of Jukan rock shelters held heritage significance, but deemed them too close to the ore body to avoid. In the process of pursuing ministerial consent to blast an Aboriginal heritage site, Rio Tinto consulted traditional owners and carried out archaeological and ethnographic surveys over a 10-year period to identify places of significance before receiving ministerial consent some 7 years ago in 2013. In 2014, the company funded a salvage mission at two of the rock shelters to safeguard any artefacts as a final measure, but the dig turned up finds whose significance exceeded all expectations. According to archaeologist Michael Slack, there were grinding and pounding stones and a 28,000-year-old tool made from bone, each one of the oldest examples of these technologies known in Australia, and a piece of a 4,000-year-old plated hair belt whose DNA has been linked to that of today's Plaatu Kunti Kurama and Pinkura traditional owners. Dr. Slack and his colleagues' report, which is due for publication this year, says the excavations provided new insights into the way of life for the earliest human populations, revealing the diversity and complexity of late Pleistocene toolkits and the timing of tool use. The site's significance could not be overstated, according to the report, and other rock shelters in the area were recommended for further exploration. WA Today understands 3 salvage trips were made in 2014 and has received conflicting information over whether a 4th trip was requested and denied. And on Sunday, Rio detonated explosives at the shelter. So that's the stuff that Steve speaks of.
You are our eyes. You are our ears. And we want to share what you know with the rest of Perth. Call Perth Live with Oliver Peterson between 3 and 6 weekdays. And give us your word on the street. And you could win $10,000. Keep your eyes and ears open. Word on the street. Weekdays from 3 on Perth Live. Get to Maddington Hyundai for their $99 car service plus 20% off logbook services. MaddingtonHyundai.com.au. DL 14687.
Tomorrow on Today, how a backyard game with her big brother saw little Addie in the fight of her life.
It was really scary.
The extraordinary surgery to save her.
Plus low-cost winter warmers for your pet.
That's tomorrow on Today on 9.
Danmar Homes are a family-owned and run company, and they trust your family is coping during these challenging times. For nearly 30 years, Danmar Homes have delivered the people of Perth their dream home. So if you're dreaming of that home right now, start planning. Danmar Homes are open for business and provide a safe environment for you, or contact them from the comfort of your own home. At Danmar Homes, they are here to help and can provide any advice you may require. danmarhomes.com.au.
How does a 20% lifetime discount on life insurance sound? Pretty good, right? How about a 20% lifetime discount plus your first 2 months cover free? Even better. At 50upclub.com, you can get a 20% lifetime discount on life insurance cover with Noble Oak's My Protection Plan. You'll also receive your first 2 months cover for free. The 50 Up Club has never offered a bigger life insurance offer. So don't miss out. Go to 50upclub.com today. Any advice provided is general in nature and does not consider your personal circumstances. You should read the PDS to see if this product is right for you. Details on the website at 50upclub.com. That's 50upclub.com.
At Bunnings, we've got some great project bundles to help you keep busy while you're safe at home. Check out our projects on our website, order over the phone on 1800 560 771 and we'll bundle up everything you need. We'll then deliver it to your door.
Until midnight on 6PR, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Isley.
How's that? He's back in the studio.
I'm back.
That's how he looks? Yeah. They're telling me his wife still reckons he's a pretty good-looking rooster. Doesn't go much on his Hawaiian shirts, which we actively encourage. And we still haven't found him his Combi van yet.
Yet.
I emphasise yet. I do speak of Ben Aylett from benaylett.com. 1L, 2 T's in Aylett. How are we, sir?
Oh, I'm going very well, thanks, Chris.
How is it we managed to drag you out of your abode?
Oh,
you got all the jobs done around the house twice over, I hear.
No, not really, but yes. No, you guys asked nicely, and it looks like we're on the track to beating, well, at least slowing down this COVID-19 thing. So we've managed to put a fair dent in it, and it's everyone's returning back to work. And I've
worked out the biggest threat to preventing the spread of COVID-19.
And what's that?
Ships.
Yes.
There is actually right now, not that I'm advocating one does this, but there is actually right now a strong case for going out and sinking ships.
Yes, it floats. Yes.
Yep, it floats. Get rid of it.
Yes.
Why? Well, it might harbour diseases.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Isn't it funny? And when you look at the early days of countries that sailed and had navies, that's when they also did things like spread social diseases and all sorts of other things. So all throughout history, even though navies were the first thing that actually made people mobile, allowed people to travel, they were also and remain one of the prominent ways by which we spread all sorts of different nasty diseases.
Yeah, for a while it was one of the quickest ways as well.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, now, nothing, planes and what have you.
Yeah.
Mate, how's the world of technology? We got a note from Telstra.
Yeah, speaking of fast.
Yeah, we're talking about 5G.
Yes.
It seems they've come up with something that is fast, and we go, yeah, but how fast? Well, faster than fast.
Well,
what's going on?
Okay, so Telstra have been gradually rolling out their 5G mobile broadband network.
Yep.
And they've actually launched and they've made available to buy a 5G Wi-Fi Pro device. So it's the according to them, the most advanced 5G mobile broadband device, the 5G Wi-Fi Pro.
Which looks about the size of a mobile phone from the pictures.
Probably a little bit smaller, I think, by the look of it.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm just looking at the bloke's hand. I think you're right. Yeah, it's probably a bit smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what this does is it's going to give people access to the millimetre wave spectrum of 5G. So it's not quite the super fast, but it's really getting there. Now, I'm just trying to dig up the speeds. I think we had it there. No? Anyway, super fast. But anyway, this is fast enough to support up to 30 devices on this one little wireless modem. So you could quite easily plug this into your network. And so like large businesses could use it as a backup.
Yep.
So if your internet connection goes down, you could switch over to this and you just keep on running like nothing happened. It'd be great for people like moving. So mobile offices would love this. Technicians, of course, would love it because we love fast and the latest stuff. And it's just, it looks great. It really, really looks good. And I'm going to be interested to see how things will progress when it comes to data allowances and data caps, because if they are generous data caps, we might see it rival the NBN.
If that happens, do the NBN genuinely have a problem?
I think the NBN have been, I think they've been between a rock and a hard place. They have to make the business model viable, so they've got to be able to turn a profit so they can then sell it later on. But they're using outdated technology, so they've kind of dug a hole for themselves.
Well, the stupid problem with the NBN was the government got involved.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point did anybody say, gee, we're from the government, we're here to help? At that point, the moment the government were getting involved, and I know I very cynically said at the time, this is going to have problems. Why? Because the government's involved. What do we have? Problems. Because there were political considerations, and regardless of the government at any given time, that was always going to be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, the track record has been really bad.
Track record has been abominable.
Yep. But thankfully, they're kind of turning it around a bit with the COVID Safe app, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So,
yeah, but that wasn't their app. That was an app they got from Singapore. Let's be honest.
Yes, but they still had to implement it. They still had to stand it up, and so far it's been okay.
Yeah.
Look, speaking of which, I did mention a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the COVID Safe app is that Apple and Google have been getting together in developing an API or a programming tool which allows countries to start doing that contact tracing that works a lot better than what's on offer at the moment.
Oh,
so
okay.
There is improved code out there. It's been made available, and we are seeing.
So we've seen collaboration
countries
between Google and Apple on this, have we?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible, because usually they're arch rivals and arch competitors and don't even mention each other's name.
Yeah, look, they're both pulling together because it's a common threat, and really you don't want to be Apple and not develop it if Google's developed it, and vice versa. You don't want to be the odd man out.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to make sure that everyone's using the same technology. We're all on a par. So there's no real clear winner. If everyone's super, nobody's super.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But now some of this technology and where we're going is incredible. How's this going to be? The one thing I've always known about wireless technology, the more you load it, the more you slow it down. Now, I also realise that's to a certain extent being countermanded by the fact that, by the nature of frequencies used by 5G, it straight off is it doesn't have a super long range, which put simply means you need more outlets for it to work as effectively.
Exactly.
Which means that even though you can load it up with more, you're not actually loading each individual site up with more, because there are far more of them. So at some point it could be that one technically cancels the other out.
I mean, that's kind of evolution. So things will keep evolving, and we will see other technologies drop off. But yeah, you're right. With the 5G, and especially millimetre wave, it does have a very, very short distance. And I remember years ago when I first started talking on 6PR, when I said there's only so much air you can push a radio signal through, and look how wrong I was, because there's different ways you can do it to increase capacity.
Well, you weren't wrong. You were absolutely 100% correct at the time.
Yes, at the time.
That's what
I reserve the right to be wrong.
No, what you're saying is correct at the time. And we could almost put a disclaimer that says what you're hearing is correct at the time that it is being said. However, technology may make it redundant sometime in the future. I mean, don't forget that without engines, a jet airliner won't stay in the air.
Well, exactly.
Got the aerodynamics of a brick. It's only because they happen to have these massive engines producing hundreds of thousands of horsepower, they stay up there. Otherwise, they come down.
They've got the power to make it happen.
Yeah. What was it? There was one, I can't remember what the aircraft was. You know what its aerodynamics were?
What was that?
3 foot forward, 2 foot down. In other words, it was basically a brick with wings. But once you start to change, and this is the point we're making, that you can simply change something. Let's, for example, put the metaphorical jet engines on.
Yes.
All of a sudden it can fly.
Exactly,
and does so very well.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it comes down. And more of these means that you're actually, each base station, for want of a better word, will have less people on it because there'll be more of them.
Exactly. Yep. And that's how it's going to work in the future.
Which kind of makes you wonder, what's 6G going to look like?
Oh, boy. I have no idea.
It's really incredible when you stop and think about that. So that's something that's coming out from Telstra. And these little devices, I reckon, I wouldn't imagine they're too expensive. And I'm thinking that a lot of people will probably acquire them. Because they could also be really handy to have in a house.
Exactly, yeah. So to buy them outright, you can get them for $599.
Yep. That's now. It's going to be cheaper.
Right now they will be cheaper, yes. or you can get it over 24 months for $24.95 a month.
That's all right. People pay more than that
and
for
that's okay,
their plans, don't they?
Yeah, and I'd be interested to see how the plans match up as well. Does that include the $24.95? That'd probably be on top of a data plan. So
something else we also have to give kudos to Telstra for.
Mm-hmm.
They are more proactive than anyone else about letting us know what's coming down the pipe.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, if anything's happening...
I mean, for all the criticisms we've ever had about Telstra, the one thing about Telstra, they always tell us what's going on, what's coming down the pipe, and how it's going to work and how it's going to integrate into their network.
Turns out they're good at communications. Who knew?
Yeah. Communications company that communicates. Oh, well, somebody better do a media release about that. 92211882. If you've got any technological issues you'd like to have a chat to Ben about, benaylett.com is also his website, 1L, 2 T's in Aylett, and that is also where you'll find all of his contact information. But if you would like to have a chat with him right now about some of your technical issues, 92211882 is the number.
Oliver Peterson.
David Littleproud, when the Department of Agriculture was informed of an elevated temperature of one particular crew member, and that is when the Department of Agriculture informed the Western Australian Department of Health.
On Perth Live.
That is correct. In fact, I've asked the department to provide me a copy of that email to make sure that was done.
So when the Premier reports today that they found out from word of mouth, would you say that he's incorrect?
When I get the email, I will say that he is incorrect.
Perth Live with Oliver Peterson, tomorrow from 3 on 882 6PR. Or catch up now at 6pr.com.au.
It has never been easier to have a well-kept garden, and there's nothing quite like the perfect lawn. Unlock hours of free time with Husqvarna Automower. Enjoy more time doing what you love while your lawn is kept in perfect shape. Husqvarna has intelligent robotic mowers for every size and shape of lawn to give you a lush green cut. Upgrade your everyday with Husqvarna Automower, the smart way to mow. Find your perfect match at husqvarna.com.
I need you to give blood. Like warm socks from the dryer depend on it. Like Saturday sleep-ins depend on it. Like belly laughs depend on it. Like life depends on it. In Australia, a new blood donor is needed every 5 minutes, and they're needed to save lives like mine. So please, give blood like life depends on it. Search Give Blood to book a donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today.
Hi, I'm Scott Ingram. Our business name, Helium Marketing, was chosen to represent our mission to be light and responsive. Reimagining how we communicate and do business is vital. Fortunately, in a digital space, we can be agile. Helium Marketing is here to help. Our local team prioritise speed of delivery and can work with you remotely as needed. Talk to us about an online overhaul and preparing your website for more activity. Call 1-800-HELIUM. That's HELIUM.
6PR is here for you during the coronavirus pandemic. And if you need help, then the following organisations can assist you during this difficult time.
People Who Care is a volunteer-based organisation operating across 20 centres metro-wide, offering a diverse range of services and support for those who are frail, elderly, disabled or experiencing financial hardship. Call People Who Care on 93791944 or visit peoplewhocare.org.au. If you're in need of emergency food assistance, you can find a charity in your area via the ER Connect website, which will provide phone numbers of organisations who distribute food hampers and provide assistance. Visit erconnect.org.au to find your nearest charity.
6PR is part of your community, and we want you to look after yourselves and your loved ones. This announcement is a community service, proudly supported by Blue Force, WA's leading provider of security solutions, health and life safety devices, and technology integration. blueforce.com.au.
This is Perth Tonight with Chris Isley on 882 6PR.
And Ben Aylett's here talking technology. Nice to have you back in the studio too.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I didn't realise you were so fit.
No, you mean fat.
No, fit. That's quite remarkable, really. G'day, Kevin.
Hi there, Chris and Ben.
G'day, Kevin.
This is not a mobile issue. It's a landline.
Right.
Okay.
Now, the problem is I've got internet, but the landline's not working. I can't even get a dial tone.
Have you just gone over to NBN?
About 18 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And your phone's been working since then?
Yeah, up until I noticed about a week ago.
Okay.
Now, I've been trying to contact my provider, and because of this COVID-19, I can speak to them, but I have the issue of logging into my modem's router.
Right.
And I tried to do that, and it does not recognise my password or the username or the modem's username or password.
Okay.
Now, what they have done, they've ordered me another modem.
All right.
Now, do you think that would sort the issue out by the home phones not working?
Yeah, it could well do that. Now, who's your provider?
IONET.
Okay. IONET, excuse me, are usually pretty good when it comes to sending out gear that's pre-configured. And I know for a fact that IONET, when they offer telephone services over their internet connection, it's using a technology we called VoIP, which is Voice over Internet Protocol. So it's possible that something may have become misconfigured on the modem or the router, or the service might have been dropped for whatever reason. So they can take...
And the other issue is too, I listen to you guys over Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Now, that's buffering all the time.
Okay. Yeah, it could be that the modem is on the way out. So if it is,
that's
slow,
like me.
Yeah, so we do need to replace routers after a while or modems. It's weird they don't have any moving parts, but they do wear out.
Best way to get one for free, you phone up and say, modem stuffed, can I have
Well, they're doing it under
that's all right, because if you phone up and say, modem stuffed, I want a new one, they go, it might cost you $300 or whatever. That's when you turn around, you go, gee, Telstra offering an exceptional deal right now. And all of a sudden they get a whole new attitude. They send you around cream donuts and a brand new modem.
Oh, I would want more than that.
Come on, steady on, you're getting a free modem.
I would want Murray Shandon as well.
Well, there you go.
Oh, look out.
Yeah,
Did you just win lotto?
Ask the question, Kevin, but it's a very good question, because sometimes now, especially there used to be a time you plug your phone into the wall.
Yeah.
If you didn't have dial tone, your phone faults.
Yep.
They would tell you, because they had access to a device called a time domain reflectometer, that yes, there was a fault on your number. It would be reported, and somebody fixed it within a day.
Yeah. Well,
nowadays, the first thing you have to do is you have someone like Kevin ring up and say, gee, I'd like to be able to talk to someone in the company about it. Let us know how you go with that, Kev. But it's frustrating. It is. Muzza.
Yeah, good evening, boys. Try and be quick as I can. Okay. So, Ben, what would you do in your opinion? Get an old phone fixed. Two options are a Nokia 8.1, cracked screen and problems, Moto G5, or go with a new phone. What do you think?
How old are these phones?
The Nokia's not even 12 months yet, because it's got a cracked screen. I had problems before this started, the cracked screen, the problems with it.
Yep.
But now it's cracked, they won't want to do nothing about it.
Okay.
The Moto G5 is similar but not as bad, but will I get that fixed, or get maybe a G7 or 8, or... And then the Pixel 4 is a great phone, but what would you recommend as far as value?
If you're thinking of a Pixel 4, I would recommend you go for that, or the Pixel 4a. So, yeah, I would probably push you towards a new phone for a couple of reasons. It's a new phone, and also you're getting a phone that is running an updated version of Android. It's always a good idea to have the latest and greatest version of Android, if not for any other reason, but for security reasons, because it's running the latest patches.
Yeah, also, what's your opinion on the, I think it's the 3L by Alcatel?
Alcatel is not a brand I follow too closely. I'm more for the larger, more established brands. As long as it's running the most recent version of Android, you should be okay. But I'm just very wary, especially about some of the more budget-priced phones. They might be running an outdated version of Android, which you really should avoid.
Okay, thanks.
No problem, mate.
No, thanks very much for that, Muzzer.
Yeah.
You're never a big one for the outdated. By the way, last drinks, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben, 922 11882. From Daniel, he says, biggest irritation to me, Google putting a capture page after every other thing I click on because I use a VPN.
Yeah, It's called security.
Drives him nuts.
I know. Well, it's going to do that because every time you run a VPN, it obscures your IP address and it makes it look like you're coming from somewhere else that you weren't before. And it's very, very hard for Google to track and say, I know Daniel. He's always come in from this connection and he's been doing it this way.
But that's why he's using a VPN.
Well,
he wants you to think his name is Ben, not Daniel.
Okay.
Do you know I knew a bloke called Ben Daniels, but that's another story.
Yeah. But
he was also a technician.
If you're going to go for privacy like that, you're going to have to expect to jump through a few hoops where the likes of Google...
Why doesn't Google have a, psst, I don't want to know who we are? And Google goes, no worries. Whatever happened to that? You know, the metaphorical thumbs up. No worries, mate.
Yeah,
I understand.
Google's never done that because Google's business model is all about advertising. And if you take away the tracking, the advertising becomes...
They can't target you because they don't really know But they could still target you with international brands.
Yeah, but then international brands, if I was advertising, I'd want to advertise to people who would be wanting to make decisions about computers, not people who'd be wanting to make decisions on cars. So that's the value behind targeted advertising, and that's why Google and Facebook manage to make so much money because the ads they offer are pinpoint targeted.
So people using those platforms, be it Google or Facebook, via a VPN becomes a real problem. Because none of those platforms know where you really are.
Exactly. Well, they don't know. So if they don't know, they're going to keep asking for verification just to make sure you're not like intruding on someone else's account that would normally be of value for selling advertising.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Hello, Marty.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
Well, mate, we try not to keep you around. I mean, we can go through the whole... Your call is important to us and we'll keep you on hold for a week, but I don't think you'll go for that.
Hey, that wasn't even 5 seconds. Okay. I called up Saturday morning and I spoke to Charlie. Now, I had an iPhone 6S.
Right.
I bought a block of land in Cloudland, had all my stuff in it. Got a brand new 11R Apple phone.
Yes.
Now, the only thing that had come through was the music I downloaded and used with iTunes vouchers. So I went to put my password in, rejected it, tried 3 times. Okay.
Yep.
Now we should go through resetting the password. Tick, please do it.
Yes.
Put in the 6-digit number on your phone. Tick, did that.
Okay.
Now it said, would you like to use your current device or your old device? So I say tick, current device. Nothing would happen. I'd say, all right, I'd redo the whole lot again. Would you like to use old device? Tick, I'd do that. And then it would say, okay, put in what debit card you have in your phone, all your numbers and everything. Okay, tick, that's a security check. We will get back to you in 3 days to reset your password. Now, I've done it 3 times. That hasn't happened. Charlie told me to get onto a laptop, put in my username, password, all of that. Now, Apple won't even accept that through a laptop. I don't know what to do now.
Ooh, boy. In this case, I would be picking up the phone and giving Apple a call or seeing if you can get book some face-to-face time with one of the Apple geniuses down at the local Apple shop.
That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, there seems to be. And one of the things I've discovered about Apple products, if you have an issue with them, quite often you do need somebody who works within the organisation, like an Apple shop, to help you sort it out. The good news is, generally speaking, they can. Thanks very much for that, Marty. Ben, we're out of time, dude.
Already, look at that.
I know time does fly when you're having fun, but that's the whole beauty of it. At least you're having fun.
Exactly.
That's amazing. By the way, if you'd like to get in contact with Ben, not a problem at all. His contact details can be found on his website, which is benaylett.com.
That's
One L, 2 T's in Aylett. That's benaylett.com.
It's Millsy and Baz here. Don't miss Kim Hagdorn with all the latest breaking sports news every morning just after 7:45.
By May 28th, so later this week, the ICC meet and they'll get a reading from Australia. Probably no, you're not going to be able to play it. The IPL in that time, World Cup early next year, somewhere February or March.
And Haggers will take your calls every morning. Tell him what you think. Kim Hagdorn on breakfast every morning just after 7:45.
882 6PR.
Though life may seem more socially distant right now, at Ocean Gardens, our strong neighbourhood